Hello everyone, myself Amit Kumar Mani, founder Global Pharma Academy. So today I am going to share the second class of our free course in clinical data management. I hope you like this our initiative. So in the first module, in the first class, we already discussed about the drug discovery and development, then various career opportunities and scope of the clinical data management and history of the clinical trials. So in this module, we are going to discuss further. If you are not going through our previous class, just I request to go through it. Okay, just listen all things and then continue with this class, and then also listen the third class. Okay, so this is the three class, all the course is there and it is a free, so that you everyone understood what is clinical data management and what are the important information you need to know for getting a career in the clinical data management. Okay, so let's get started. In this module we are going to share first of all good clinical practices, the guidelines which is very important to carry out all the clinical operations, and next one is responsibilities of IRB and IEC. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, I will told you what is GCP. GCP, as its name indicate, good clinical practices. So these are the guidelines, these are the standards which are very important, which are followed for the all clinical operations throughout the trials. Okay, even in the clinical data management, all the clinical related activities where the data is there, where the operations and activities are there, these guidelines plays a very important role. So what is the definition of GCP? GCP is a standard for design, conduct, performance, monitoring, auditing, recording, analysis and reporting of research studies. So first of all, you need to know why GCP is needed. First, to avoid misconduct, means if there is no any standard, then randomly there are trials will be conducted and there is no any control over there, and even some of the trials are beneficial, some of trials are risky, so there are even the harm to the participant as well. There are a lot of investment involved also in the trial, so might be it is wasted or might be it is not fruitful. So that is why very important that everyone should know that GCP guidelines to follow, accordingly the trial should be conducted. Okay, so to avoid misconduct, GCP is needed. Second, protect right, safety and welfare of human. Means whatever the participant involved in the trials, their safety is very important, their privacy is very important, so all throughout this trial it should be maintained. That is why GCP is needed. Assurance of quality, reliability, integrity of clinical research data. Okay, data collected, so whatever the data collected, it should be integrated, validated according to the GCP guidelines. That should be very important. Okay, so because of which GCP is needed. Now I will tell you who is responsible to actually follow GCP. All the people. Okay, whether it is a sponsor, whether it is IRB, IEC, whether there is that's technical staff, whether medical investigator, even though the volunteers, everyone who is involved in the trials, directly, indirectly, that should be liable to follow GCP guidelines. Okay, so next we will talk about 13 principle of the GCP. What are the 13 principle? But before that, you must know what is ICH, GCP, E6, R3. Okay, these guidelines is very important. ICH means International Conference on Harmonization, which is the standards for following, which are followed for approval of the drugs. Okay, next GCP, good clinical practice, then E6, safety guidelines, then R3 means revision number 3, that is the third updates. Okay, now 13 principle. So first principle is ethics. There are some ethics, there are some standards according to which the all clinical data, all the, that is the operation, clinical trial should be conducted. So the first principle is the ethics. Second, trials benefit versus trial risk. Okay, means whatever the trial are going on, you need to analyze before that what should be the probable risk, what should be the probable benefits for the trials, then only you can start the trials. Okay, so trial risk versus trial benefit is equally important. Then trial participant, whoever the participant, everyone must need to know that somewhere in the some kind of the trials there are some eligibility criteria, somewhere the participant should be educated, somewhere it is not. So what are the eligibility for the trial participant who are involved in the trials, that should be know. Then information about the medicinal product, as you already know, in the drug discovery and development we come to know about how the drug discovery is there, how the development is there. There are lots of clinical trials phases. Okay, so all the information about the medicinal product which are now we are going to investigate through the this clinical trial, so about that medical that product, that should be informed to the all the team. Okay, information about the medicinal product. That good quality trials means whatever the tests which are assigned, which are needed to carry out, that should be completed. Okay, because as per the therapeutic area, whatever, like any respiratory trials are there, means the drug is on the respiratory system working, whether it is for the cancer drug like oncology, or whether it is a gastro, whether it is a cardiovascular, whether it is a diabetic. So according to that, different tests and different activities are carried out. Okay, so that should be properly follow, the quality trial should be carried out. Next is compliance with the protocol. So the protocol is all the set of the documents, set of the activities which will be defined before starting the trial. So how the trials will be conducted, where the trials will be conducted, which are the therapeutic areas, how many participants are there, and which group of the participant is there, and how many days or how many duration of the trials will be there, like phase 1, 2, 3, according to that, and the team, which teams are involved in that. So everything is there involved in the protocol. Okay, so that should be compliance. All this protocol should be followed throughout the trials. Then medical decisions. Okay, everyone should know their decision, means everyone should know their roles and responsibilities. Then trial staff should be properly educated before starting the trials. Then good manufacturing practices should be there, the quality assurance is there, the quality assurance maintained throughout it. Then clinical trial data, whatever the data is collected from the clinical trial, that should be properly like investigate. Okay, then properly validate according to the guidelines. The next is informed consent. Informed consent is the form which involve all the information about the trials, and that should be undertaken by every volunteer. So in every clinical trial, volunteer should aware about all the trial. Then and only then he signed the document, and then he is able to participate in the trial. Okay, if he is not agree with the term and condition, no one is able to force him or her for participate in the clinical trial. Okay, so the safety of the patient is very important during the conduction of the clinical trials. The next is confidentiality. So if every time whenever the trials are conducted, the patient code is also only visible, not patient name or his identity details or his address, whether he is married, not, like nothing will be reflected. Okay, only the code is there, so that the confidentiality of each and every patient should be maintained throughout the trials. So these are the 13 principles which are involved in the good clinical practices. Okay, now we'll move to the next, role and responsibility of IRB, Institutional Review Board, IEC, Independent Ethics Committee. So these are the committee, these are the boards which are responsible for designing the protocol, which are responsible for monitoring throughout all the trials. Okay, so there are 5 members in this. Here one is scientific, one from the scientific background, some from the medical background, some from the non-scientific background. Okay, so the responsibility to design protocol, okay, and protect the safety and welfare of the human beings. So basically there is protocol are written from them, then trials are getting to be started, then they also guide the team about the regulatory compliances, and also the protocol, once it is created, it should be followed throughout the trial. There is no any deviation should be happening. In case of only emergency, that should be allowed, otherwise not. Then if any adverse event is happening, anything is going on, then that should be reported to, or that should be informed to the IRB or IEC. So this is the basic role and responsibility of IRB and IEC. Okay, this is the higher authority of all the trials, okay, throughout. So that is why this team as the committee is very important. Then next, some of the documentation which are involved throughout the clinical trials. First is informed consent form. This is the form which involve all the activities, all the information about the trials, that should be undertaken by any volunteers. Then next is protocol or amendment, means set of documentation which declare or which defines all activities when to be carried out, like all the trial information, when the trials will be carried out, how carried out, where this should be carried out, the technical staff involved, and the volunteers eligibility, the test will to be carried out, everything it should be included in the protocols or amendment. Next is subject recruitment, means see the participant will be, sometime it is they are interested for the trial, so there is no any need of the advertisement, but sometime it should be advertisement, it should be there. because of which the people need to know that there are clinical trials should be conducted. And then if the sometimes participants should also get the monetary benefits. Okay, so IRB or IEC also monitor every participant should get equal monetary benefits. No one get more, no one will get less. This is not should be happening. Okay, then consent form update means if anything needed to be updated in the consent form, that is comes under consent form updates. Okay, and safety guidelines are also there that should be told by the sponsor to all the teams before starting the clinical trials. Okay, so this is all about the today's session. We teach here that good clinical practices information, various principles, responsibility of IRB and IEC. In the next module, we see much more about the clinical data management, and this course will definitely help you to bring you a good career in the clinical data management, about getting knowledge. Okay, if you are interested to learn throughout all information about the clinical data management, you can join our 3-month online certification course in the clinical data management, where you will get to know all information about clinical data management, even skill development, whether we are helping you for the resume preparation, interview preparation, email writing, like HR communication, everything, soft skill, and also help you for the placement. So this is the 3-month online certification course. This is paid course. Okay, so if you are interested for our paid course, you can call to this number or fill the Google form given in the description. This is the most affordable prices we are going to afford you, so that every student can be like can educate for the clinical data management. Okay, so our main motive for every course to educate all. Okay, so that education or information will reach to each and every student, and they will definitely get their dream job. Okay, so if you like this our initiative for this free course, don't forget to like this video, don't forget to subscribe our channel, which provide various career opportunity, interview preparations, and courses information about the pharmaceutical industry. And don't forget to share this video to your friends and colleagues. That's it from this video. Happy learning.